I mean, there was something about that first look of intelligence and wisdom, looking into the eyes of that bear. And it didn't last more than a millisecond, and that bear disappeared in the woods. But it left me with this internal sense of curiosity about bears, and the questions have never ceased. I mean, I'm still fascinated by bears, and they still blow our mind. And they're still mysterious and wonderful and beautiful animals. My name is Louisa Willcox, and I'm co-founder of Grizzly Times that gives voice to the great bear and its ecosystems. We try to make complicated information simple about current events, science, law, policy. Our goal is to give people information so that they can make their own decisions about the future of the bear. And the fate of the bear really does rest in our hands. Grizzly bears are vulnerable. In a period of just 60 years between the late 1800s and the early 1900s, about 97% of our grizzly bears were eliminated. They were shot, poisoned, you name it. And even though they've made some progress under protections of the Endangered Species Act, we have a long way to go to ensure their long-term recovery, which means connecting remaining grizzly bear populations in the Northern Rockies and about improving our practices for coexistence. We don't need to kill most grizzly bears. There are non-lethal ways we can approach situations, whether it's around our house or around our livestock or what have you. At Grizzly Times, we're encouraging people to get engaged, get informed, learn about the issue. There are very simple things you can do, such as being mindful when traveling through grizzly bear country, carrying bear pepper spray. I've been involved in advocacy for wild places and grizzly bears for about 40 years, but I'm a very accidental advocate. I fell in love with the wilderness when I came west from rural Pennsylvania. I fell in love with the wild country of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem in the Northern Rockies, and I had a transformative experience with a grizzly bear when I was about 17. I was coming down off of ridge in a storm in the dusk and felt like I almost collided with this bear, but I didn't. And the bear looked at me, and we looked at each other for an incredibly brief second, and it spun around and disappeared into the woods. And I was like, what was that? And I was so curious that I studied up on bears. I wrote about bears. I'm still curious about bears, and bears still blow our mind. Grizzlies have captured our imagination since time immemorial. They have fascinated us as beings that are so much like us. I mean, they stand on their hind legs, they eat a lot of the same foods that we do, and a mother bear will nurture her young for a number of years, not unlike human moms. And if grizzly bears are healthy, so too are their ecosystems. As ecologists have discovered, if grizzly bears are in good shape, everything from watersheds and bighorn sheep and birds tend to be healthy. Our goal is to give people information so that they can make their own decisions about the future of the bear. And the fate of the bear really does rest in our hands. And we do have responsibility to make sure that it's here for our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren. If you love wild country, if you love the Northern Rockies, and if you love grizzly bears, we ask that you join us in an effort to make sure that they're here for future generations. So sign up for our newsletter at grizzlytimes.org. You'll get the latest news, our blogs, our podcasts, analysis of new developments, new science, and it'll give you a good sense of where you can get engaged.